Welcome to this week's episode of Listen to Your Coaches. I'm your coach, Mike Wilkins, here with Coach Will Morrill. And this week, we're getting down to business with some studio upgrades. And that upgrade came in the form of a whole human, slightly off camera askew. We have Max Farrell Gerald. Max, say hello to the people. You got to yell because you got to get to my mic.
Your mic?
Yell.
How's it going?
There he is. All right, there we go. All right, so that's Max. You will occasionally hear him, and in the future, when Max does his job better, he'll have his own microphone. But until then, he's going to have to scream over to me.
Maybe even a Max Cam.
But maybe even a Max Cam. They'd be pretty excited. Coach Will, why don't you lead us?
All right, so let's start with the main event
Of?
UFC Fight Night Yan versus Figueiredo.
Oh, jeez. All right, there we go. Man, should we restart?
I thought
Do we have to do the whole thing over?
The way he reacted to that, I thought that I actually said like the wrong event. I was like, is it not Fight Night? Was it a numbered event?
No, we just didn't tell him what we were talking about.
So anyways, yeah, UFC Fight Night. Let's start with the main event. So
let's start
hold
with
on.
it.
Let's start with this. Is it Piotr, or Petr?
Peter. Come over here, Peter. I don't know what it is, actually.
Dude,
What do you think it is?
So I've heard Piotr all
Piotr.
the time. And I think that's probably like how you would say. Have you ever heard Fedor say his name?
Fedor.
Yeah, it's like real weird. It's like Fyodor, and you're like, what the? That's like...
Why do I feel like I'm popping out of Lord of the Rings?
Dude, actually,
I would call him.
As someone who just
Peter.
watched Lord of the Rings
Peter.
very
Peter.
recently, there's a great moment in it, which I totally forgot about. My boy Martin pointed this out. Right before they're about to have like the last battle in the last movie. I guess not the last battle, but Aragorn says like, "Would the Lord of the Black Land come out?" And dude, straight up Scottish accent. He's like, "Would the Lord of the Black Land?" Dude, it's so funny. But anyways, neither here nor there. Let's get back to the fights.
Wait, I gotta throw it to him.
Okay.
Max, how do you say that guy's name?
I believe it's Piotr Yan. That's
Piotr.
what I've heard the most.
That's I
All
think
right.
that's the
Max
Russian
says
way.
Piotr. Will says Piotr.
And that's his favorite fighter. So you know.
Oh, it is his favorite. I say Peter.
Hey, I think it's interchangeable. But anyways,
I just call him Pete.
young Pete had a good night at the office.
All right, there we go. Yeah. So I actually had money against Pete. I had
Well,
money
that
on
made sense
Figgy.
because the money, I don't think that the odds reflected the actual chances of it going the way that it did. But I also did think that Jan was going to win. He ended up winning a pretty dominant decision. What were the final scores on this? 50-45 across the board? Yeah.
Yeah. I scored it as such as well.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
I think that that's one of those ones too where like it doesn't necessarily show how like it sounds like, oh, that's just like pure shutout, and like Figgy definitely had his moments, but round by round, yeah, absolutely.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think that's how it went down.
Yeah, the way the Lord scores it.
What were you most impressed about with Jan?
That trip.
Yeah, that was sick.
That was sick.
That was very sick.
Other than that, just always kind of like being a step ahead in all the disciplined areas.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Yeah, that's it. It just seemed more clean technical.
Yeah. I think he has a pretty like solid stance switch game too, which a lot of guys who stance switch don't.
What level would you consider his stance switch? I would consider him a level 2.
2.5, maybe even 3.
Okay. Yeah, that was me just trying to bait you.
Oh, gotcha.
Okay. Bait denied.
Yeah.
All right.
So now you know what it feels like when you try to get your podcast host upset and it doesn't work.
Try to pull out Ignite Mike.
Try to pull out Ignorant Mike, but don't worry.
Well, Max is here.
That's what we got Max for.
Max is here now. Max pisses me off a lot, so Ignite Mike's gonna come out.
So okay, let me ask you this then: what were you impressed with Figgy?
I was nothing stood out to me like overly impressive wise.
Yeah.
He did get a couple takedowns, but like just like I thought he fought a solid fight. Just so
I
you know,
agree.
wasn't the better fighter.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is just part of it.
Yeah,
you
it
know
is
what
what
I
it
mean?
is.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah, but like I wouldn't like be like, oh, he sucks or this or that for these reasons. Like I think he's a tremendous fighter. I think Pete is just a little bit better.
He is, and Pete's had a bit of a rough patch because he's only fought like monsters and been on the losing side of some real close ones too.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool to see him get a win, especially being a former champ and everything.
All right, do you want to run down the card, or do you want to start talking about what's next for these two right now?
Let's start talking about what's next for these
Well, it's
two
hot
right
and
now.
fresh.
Yeah.
All right.
Because I don't really have a whole lot else to say about the fight itself. They're both like super well-rounded guys.
So the bantamweight division, Maxie, can we get some rankings? Yeah. My man, look at that. First day on the job already, just nailing it.
Killing it.
All right. So we had a 3 versus a 5. Max, tell me something. Yell it. You got to yell it
Oh, for what I was gonna say.
for volume.
So I wanted to test out real quick, just for research purposes, like how quickly we can get some answers on things that we had questions for. I looked up actually the correct pronunciation of Jan's
Oh,
name,
sick.
and it is. I'll pull this up. The actual. This is like off of Reddit. Granted, it's off of Reddit.
Hey.
This is what I have for it, and it is Piotr, from my understanding. It's like computer, but with an O instead of a U.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
So, for what that's worth, it should be pronounced Piotr.
We will stick with Piotr.
Yeah.
I'm going to call him Pete until someone makes me stop. All right. So,
I like Pete as well.
my man, Pete.
He was number 3.
Petey Pobbs.
Correct. He was number 4.
Yeah, he's number 4. So he's ranked 3rd, but if you have been following, you know that I have a disdain for the UFC rankings and the structure of it, where Sean O'Malley is ranked number 1 and not the champion, Merab. Merab is listed as champion, right? So, and again, just to rehash that, if I was like, hey, Will, who are your top 5 favorite fighters?
Would I then give you
Would
6?
you then name 6? Would you be like, oh, well, I like Sean O'Malley,
Anderson
Pete,
Silva.
yeah, and all this stuff. But my champion fighter, you would lift me 5 fighters, 1 through 5. All right, so anyhow, neither here nor there.
This is actually kind of interesting because
Jan has not fought Sandhagen yet.
right, but everyone wants to see Sandhagen O'Malley.
Everybody
Right?
wants
That's,
to see Sandhagen O'Malley.
in fact, even we wanted to see that. We brought that up.
Yeah.
So Umar, like,
Is fighting Merab.
I think he's supposed to. I don't know. Actually, this is a great question for Max. Do you know
Max,
if
is
that
that fight rumored and or confirmed?
Which fight is this?
We're looking at Merab and Umar. Any smoke where there's
So-
fire?
So I heard initially that fight they were looking at that early next year, but now it sounds. So what ended up happening? They scheduled Song Yadong versus Umar for December, and then that ended up falling apart, and so everyone's kind of like, are you fighting for the title or not? And then as soon as Jan won last weekend, Merab called him out, and so they kind of verbally agreed to a rematch.
What?
So there's all kinds of weird
See, I
stuff.
saw that. So
Oh, this is a tragedy.
this is what I thought. We're in like a weird, like,
Now. There's a lot of like the Duck and Umar.
yeah, it's a chaotic type of situation. So
Also, Jan and Sandhagen have fought before.
They have.
yeah.
Yes.
Wow. Thankfully you're here. When did they fight and who won?
Jan, he won a 48-47 decision.
A 5-round 3-2.
It was for an interim title. It was the interim title. This was initially.
This was during my boycott.
Yeah. It was initially going to be Aljamain and Jan in a rematch after the illegal knee thing happened, but then Aljo
that's right.
fell
Boom.
out. Sandhagen stepped in.
The neck.
Yeah.
Okay, so getting back to these
Wow.
matchups here, then. So
Sandhagen versus O'Malley.
I believe Umar deserves the next shot, right? Would you say so?
I think so.
Sport-wise, but entertainment-wise, we might want Jan in there.
No.
I'm going with the sport version.
I'm
right
going.
now.
I mean, it's just. I mean, you're asking me what I want, and I want
I want Umar
versus Merab.
Umar's higher ranked. Umar also just had that win in a fight that like everyone widely considered to be the title eliminator.
Yeah.
People didn't go into this fight thinking it would be. So I think we stick with that. So we go Merab and Umar, then O'Malley and Sandhagen. Now we've got Jan hanging out at 3 here.
Just beat 5 Figueiredo. I think you just sit him.
Sit him and have him
Put
fight.
him on the bench. He gets the winner of Merab and Umar.
I like that. I think that's the way that it should be done. With that said, if for whatever reason that wasn't a possibility and you had to have him fight someone else, then who would it be? Cheeto, Henry, Song.
Has he fought Henry?
Who? Which
Uh,
one?
Piotr.
Piotr has not fought Henry.
Is Henry still fighting?
He says, but like, who knows?
Give me that.
He is.
Line them up.
That would be interesting. Do you think that Yan could out wrestle Henry the same way that Merab did?
No.
Is it because of the style or just the level?
The style and level, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Merab is a relentless shooter.
Right. It's just nonstop.
Yeah, almost to the point where like he's not fighting MMA.
Right. Yeah, he's wrestling in
what I
MMA.
mean? Yeah. So and then what do you do with Figgy? I think like has Figgy fought Cheeto?
I don't believe so.
Yes.
Oh, he
Yes,
did?
they have.
That was Figueiredo's last fight right before he fought Yan was against Cheeto, in which he
Wait,
became
really?
the first person to knock him down. Yes.
What?
I don't remember
I
that.
also,
This is
when we're
crazy.
talking about the title picture here, I submit to you that Umar can't fight during Ramadan, which does.
Why not?
It's
Because he's
Ramadan.
fasting.
But they can make concessions. They can push Ramadan. They can do their Ramadan later.
So
People have done that.
They're allowed to.
Wait,
like,
seriously?
Are you new?
Apparently, you can
Yeah.
you can shift when you do Ramadan?
Yeah, I mean, like if it's like a world title
Right,
fight,
yeah.
you'll be like, okay, Ramadan is however many days. You'll be like, okay, I'll start it after the fight. I'll
sick.
like make it up. Some people compete through Ramadan. Like here goes the thing: if there's an important wrestling event during Ramadan, I don't know what to tell you.
I thought they just fasted the whole time they were training.
Yeah, they just do.
I see. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, they just do. Like you know what I mean?
But you're saying also there are dudes who've just moved it.
Yeah, no, I don't know if like that's a certain like
Right, yeah.
like maybe you're considering that like maybe certain people aren't willing to
Right.
and things like that. But when's Ramadan? Is that causing an issue with booking here?
So Ramadan starts February 28th this upcoming year.
Well, there's a lot of time for them to fight before then.
Well, that's what people are trying to get for Umar if he decides to fight. But there's like, I understand what you're saying. I've heard people saying that like they can fight during Ramadan because it's technically it's like a work release type thing. But there's a lot of speculation that Umar won't because guys like Islam will also not fight during Ramadan.
Oh, okay. Hey, you know what?
So if that becomes a thing, then the title
Interesting.
picture gets even more interesting.
Yeah, I think if Umar doesn't want to fight at the time that like makes sense for the UFC, then I would think you got to give it to Yan.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's
All right,
move on.
We got it sorted.
Yeah.
Max,
Back to
you
the
bring up
card.
So
the co-main event was that Tabitha Ricci. She got.
That was the co-main.
Yeah, that was the co-main.
Ugh.
Yeah. I was rather uninspired by the fight.
I agree.
So I'm not going to talk about it. My boy, Muslim
Salikov.
Salikov, with that spinning heel kick.
Dude, and what's crazy is
What's crazy is I had that money on him.
I did not think
He's 40 years old.
he was doing great up until that point.
He wasn't, and he looked old.
Yeah.
And then he was like, "Wow!"
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what he did? Slatted dap,
Slatted that.
rat trap.
So
Those hoes,
she's on a board.
she's on a board.
There'll be one person who watches this who's like, that's hilarious. And everyone else is like, what are you guys talking about? Yeah, I remember we were watching this fight and I was like, dude, I can't believe he was that much of a favorite because like,
Yeah, I agree.
Song looks good right
honestly,
now.
as the fight was playing out, I was like, "Oh, dude, I just threw my money away."
And also, like you'd think the card being in Macau, you know,
They would
yeah, they're trying to prop up, you know,
throw some layups.
exactly. And then I'm like, oh, he's 40. I was like, oh, maybe they just like messed up the odds, or maybe just like tons of people were betting on Salikov, so they had to like, you know, just mess with the odds a little bit.
Well, that happens. Like when money comes in, it then moves the odds.
Right, exactly. So that's what I thought was going on here, and then yeah, we were a little bit bummed watching it because I was like, oh, I guess your bet's not going to pan out, and then slatted up, it sure did.
Sure did. Hey.
Yeah, very impressive. Very impressive, but I don't really think there's like a whole lot for Salikov to do. He's not ranked yet, and he's 40.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah, I mean, just credit to him, still in there,
credit to him.
grinding away.
Give him a fun fight next.
Yeah, let him make money. And
yeah, exactly.
Enjoy fighting.
Yep.
All right, we're gonna bounce down to Volkan Ozdemir versus Carlos
Olberg.
Was a little bit closer than I expected it to be.
Yeah.
In my opinion, especially for it to be a two judges 30-27, one judge 29-28. So under the Mike Wilkins scoring system, Olberg won 8-1.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah, no, that fight played out basically how I thought that it would, except Olberg I thought was a little less uh, busy than he could have been. You know what I mean? Like I feel like he was clearly outstriking. When they did get into exchanges, I think that Ozdemir kind of had to force some things at times, and Olberg just didn't really take advantage of that. And I think that for someone who I've been kind of high on Olberg, because of the camp he comes from, because of he's his size, but also he's pretty fast too.
Does he have a city kickboxing?
Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. I just expected more from him, I guess, especially against Ozdemir, who I kind of view as being like a really solid but like tiny bit slow, top 10 guy. I thought that Olberg was gonna slice through him a little bit more. So hats off to Ozdemir. Olberg, I don't know if maybe he needs more work or if I just am putting unrealistic expectations of volume on
Maybe
heavyweights.
it's a little bit of maybe okay, there's that, but also maybe it's like a little bit of you overrating Olberg and a little bit of you underrating
Ozdemir, for sure. Yeah.
Something to note is the age of these athletes. When you think of Ozdemir, you think of somebody on the downside, sliding down through their career. But when you think of Olberg, at least for me, I think of someone on the upswing of their career. However, they were 35 and 34.
Right. Yeah. Basically the same age.
Yeah. So basically the same.
Dude,
age.
isn't that weird? The first time I realized that MMA ages are goofy like that is, the UFC was already past this generation, and someone was talking about the Nogueiras, and I was like, oh, dude, those guys must be 50, and they're like, no, dude, they're 29, or whatever they were, and I'm like, how old were these guys in Pride? They were 19 or something. Have 50 fights by the time they're 25. Same with Shogun. I think that he was much younger than I'd expect him to be.
All right, so the only other fight I really want to talk about is that Kavanaugh fight. Slide us down to that Kavanaugh fight, Max, somewhere on the prelims there. There he is. Loner Kavanaugh versus Josie Ochoa.
So he came in with a lot of hype. He had that
some highlights.
Big, highlight reel knockout in was it Cage Warriors?
Yep, Cage Warriors. What about the Dana White Contender Series?
And he had a big knockout there as well. So obviously I only saw highlights. I didn't watch any real fight footage on him. I was expecting that basically. So then when we actually watch the fight, we're starting to see some holes where his defense is just pulling. You know what I mean? And that's not something that you can get away with.
That's a hole, but it's also sometimes you do something good and you get addicted to it.
Exactly.
Right?
And sometimes it works too.
Yeah. His highlight was off of a pull. Right?
Everything I've seen highlight-wise is just pull, throw. Yeah, big counters.
So,
but think about it.
Then you that's your thing then, right? It's I hit a sick mixer pass. Next thing you know, the only thing I'm doing is mixer passes.
Well,
it's all right, dude.
What you just said about Merab.
Diversify it.
Merab just shoots.
Yeah.
And it's if you do that enough and you're good enough at it, sometimes that works for you. You know what I mean? And I told you this when we were watching the fight not that long ago. If we kind of, and I don't think stylistically they're necessarily the same, but if we look at him compared to a Topuria, where you go oh, they're pretty boxing based, kind of similar-ish stance-ish, and you could make that comparison. If we compare their boxing, I would say that Topuria uses a simpler offensive game, but a much more complex defensive game. Whereas Kavanaugh has a slightly more maybe offensive, or complexity in his offensive game, but his defensive game is super, super simple. It's just a little bit of moving and pulling. And I think that he spends too much time looking for that big counter instead of forcing exchanges or even forcing counters. You know what I mean? So that, I think his low kick defense has a little bit to be desired. He did show some moments of brilliance with either big shots that he landed with some big kicks. And I think like I mentioned, his patience when he hurt that guy. What's his name? Ochoa.
Yeah.
Those I think are things where I'm oh, this kid is super, super talented, but he definitely has some things that need to be ironed out before he's ready for some top level guys.
Something of note, a judge did give Kavanaugh round 2. One judge did give him round 2.
Okay.
Although I and 2 of the judges gave round 2 to Ochoa. There.
So let's talk about that round actually. So the striking was close enough, but I think Kavanaugh was winning. And then he dropped Ochoa at one point, but then at the end of the fight... Yeah, but
to me it was does it even count? Okay, yes, we view it as a drop.
Right.
But I don't think stats-wise it's a draw.
Did his hand touch the floor? I think that's all
I
that
don't think it
matters.
matters. If his hand touched the floor, his back, butt, doesn't matter.
I think if anything other than your feet touches. So, like, if you get,
No,
like...
I think that's wrong because I think that's why Max Holloway still had not been dropped yet.
Oh, that's right.
I think a drop means that the other person ends up on top.
Okay, something else I think that might
Like
be
if you
different.
bounce back up,
right.
I think they're not
They, like, don't count that.
statistically considering that a drop, which I'm completely against, just like I'm against them counting Matt returns as takedowns.
Or, do you remember when Colby took down Usman and they didn't count that as a takedown?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do.
but
So
but anyways, so at the end of this round, Ochoa
takes the back, throws a strangle on.
now he stood up, started shaking him off a little bit as time went out, but I can very much see the argument that that's a closer finish to the fight than dropping him, especially if it's not like a bad one. You know what I mean? Where he just kind of like bounces right back
I
up.
mean, it was certainly a closer finish. I mean, he was in a submission.
Right. Now, I do think that if that round went on, I think that he would have slid off the top. But regardless, he was still closer, you know? So I agree with you. I think that round definitely could go that way. What do you think about Kavanaugh's future? Do you think that he's headed...
So some of the things that you were mentioning earlier is about like the disparity between like his style and like comparing him to Ilya and stuff, and like and I'm like, okay, so like, yeah, you're telling me like the UFC champion is better than someone on their debut.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I think like absolutely he's 23 years old.
Right.
I think there's a lot of good future for him, but I think in the flyweight division, I don't know. So he could be a phenomenal grappler, but in the flyweight division, you absolutely need a good level of grappling.
It has to be super dynamic.
And yeah, it has to be a dynamic level of good grappling. And I didn't see any of that, but other than him on the defensive end, so that didn't leave much to take away on the good side. But like, you know what I mean? Like, you just need that in that division. So if he's going to progress through the division, that's kind of got to be in his skill set.
Yeah.
So.
I also would like to see some shot entries from him, which I know that like we've even like in modern MMA, like we see like Poatan, we've seen Izzy, we've seen all these guys who are like really, really good and don't shoot. But I just heavily think
the thing with that is when you see that, you see it like it's a top-down thing, right? Like, for example, heavyweight can still fight the way that they fought in the early 2000s, right? You know what I mean? Like the heavier the weight class, the longer the evolution takes.
right.
You know what I mean? You typically see the evolution first start like lightweight and below. You know, so that makes sense.
But that's interesting because if we look at who are like the few guys that we think are good at heavyweight, like not good for heavyweights, but just
Tom
good.
Aspinall.
John Jones, Aspinall, and we could make some arguments about like Pavlovich maybe, you know what I mean? But like, what do those guys all do?
Everything.
Yeah, they shoot, you know? And I just think that that's
Curtis
something...
Blades shoots.
Curtis Blades
I
shoots.
do. I like Curtis Blades.
I like him too. I don't know if I'd say he's like a super like complete...
You know, he's probably the number 4. He's a top 5 heavyweight in the world.
Let's put it this way. He's more complete than most of the heavyweights,
Yeah.
you know, in terms of actually being good at different things.
So there's one last thing I want to talk about on this, and it's a fight that I did not watch, but there's a fight on here with just one name.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Max, 1 fight below, 2 fights below. Nicholas Mota versus that Misha Tate.
Misha Tate.
Doesn't it look like that?
Yeah, dude.
The name is Maheshate, and I don't have great vision, and it's far away. Looks like Misha Tate.
Maheshat? I don't know.
I don't know. But, you know, what do you take, an L?
Dude, I like... Yeah, he did. I like when people just have one name, like Shogun, you know what I mean? Or Fedor kind of had that to a degree. I mean, everyone knows his name's Fedor Emelianenko, but like Machida, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Like most people, if you're just like, oh, Machida, like you're not going to be like, oh, yeah, you mean Lyoto Machida. It's like, no, which other Machida do you think I meant? His brother? Like, no.
His brother fought.
He did, but like...
Bellator.
You know what I mean? Like everyone knows who... Maybe those aren't even great examples. There's... Who's someone with one name? Sokuju.
Yeah.
You know his name?
Remudu Theory.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. But I think it's kind of cool when guys have one name like that. I think it's...
Yeah. All right. Cool. Let's move on to some other things. Let's talk about some rumored and or confirmed fights. Max, why don't you pull up that sheet for us?
So one that
Jamie, pull that up.
So one that I thought was really interesting before, Max made this lovely list for us. I saw this on Instagram. Izzy has a fight rumored here.
Yeah, it's on there. Right there. You read it, Will.
Against
so far away from me, I can't see it so far.
Imavov.
Oh, Imavov. Yep.
So
rumored for February 1st.
I have not seen Imavov fight much. I've seen some highlights, and I believe I saw maybe 2 fights ago of his. But I'm not super familiar with his game. With that said, his last name ends with an OV, so I imagine he's good at wrestling.
I would venture that. Hey Max, tell us a little bit about his skill set and give us an idea who this guy is.
Nasruddin Imavov.
Can you pull up his record too? So we can
and you gotta be louder than everybody else because the mics are on our person.
Yeah. As soon as I figure out what.
And this is a very low tech podcast.
Yeah.
For now.
Now we got Max. It's all turning around. This is about to be professional.
So, let me pull him up here. Nasruddin Imavov, actually not a high level wrestler.
Oh, that's it. Fight's over. Bet the farm on Izzy.
He is born initially in Dagestan, but he trains out of Russia now.
Where in Russia? Ossetia?
Not Russia. France. He trains with Cyril Gahn in.
So he probably got worse at wrestling.
He
was born in Dagestan, instantly pretty good.
Not the best grappler.
Then moves away, instantly took away.
Lost
20%.
to Sean Strickland. Done deal. That's all I need to hear.
Oh, and he beat Brendan Allen?
His striking is some of my favorite in the entire UFC. It's
Why?
Very, very good. He has a very unique style and flow to him.
Jared Cannonier, okay, that's the fight that I saw.
Yeah. A good fight with Jared Cannonier. It was that's the one that was very.
That was the early stoppage, right? Yeah.
Very early stoppage, but he was doing well. He was starting to take over the fight a little bit.
And Jared Cannonier is really good too. So
it's weird that you like middleweights, Max, being such a little person.
I like bantamweights too.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Weird.
But I like his style a lot. Very kind of flowy. He does have some cardio issues.
And that's how Strickland beat him. I think I saw that fight too, actually.
Which is weird because he actually won the 5th round against Strickland, but lost the first 4.
Was that one in a Apex fight? Okay, I saw that one too, actually. Okay. Gotcha.
Strickland was short.
Strickland stepped in on short notice.
What a dog!
I remember that fight. I think that was one of the earlier fights that I saw Strickland. I was like, oh, this dude's stand up is very different and really effective.
All right, back to the rumored fights. I'm done with that.
Yeah, that one I agree.
So we got Ian Geary fighting, Shavkat.
That one I don't think is even rumored. I think that one's confirmed.
It's confirmed. That's confirmed.
Yeah.
So that's December 7th. Now, that brings me to an interesting point. That is the next UFC event. We do not have a UFC event this weekend.
Correct.
Okay. Man. You know what? Ever since Max has entered this room, I second guess everything. I'm look at him. Right?
Because up until now, we could just say stuff.
Well, the other thing, so I'm going to have to discipline Max on, is I can tell he's looking up some stuff, and then he'll do expressions. He'll be shake his head, and I'll be like, "Are you shaking your head at me, boy?" I know you're not shaking your head at me. But then I realize he's figuring something out.
One of you said he lives with an OV, so he's probably a wrestler. I was like, how do I break this?
Well,
as a matter of fact, he moved away, so now he's not.
Dude, okay, so and on that same card, we got Bryce Mitchell.
Hold on, wait. We can't just gloss over the fact that up until this point, you and I have just known that we've done this too. Just said whatever, and
dude, I honestly have not cared at all. And
also,
now I'm starting I'm getting self-conscious about it.
Twice.
I would just think about how many things we were wrong on just today.
Oh, dude, all the time. But twice, Danny has corrected us on YouTube, and I'm like, oh, sick, now I know. But outside of that, and I know we've said stuff wrong, but I
just go on not caring.
Yeah, exactly. But now we're being, it's forced upon us.
Held accountable.
Okay, well, what do you think about Rachmanov and Gary?
Dude, I think Rachmanov runs that.
Me too. I think Gary's really good, to be honest. Even though he's growing on me. I just saw a clip of him doing something or saying something.
So I saw a clip, and he grew on me from this clip. And can you guess what the clip is?
I'm trying to. Oh, was it him and Chris Curtis?
No.
Okay,
It
I
was
think
him
that's
and
the one
his
that made
son.
me.
Yeah.
Oh, I should have known.
So he has his son. He's like, oh, Conor McGregor, and his son's got to be like maybe 2,
Yeah.
or whatever. And it does like the Billy strut, and then he's like, Poton.
Oh, that's so sick.
And like, dude, he did a couple, and they were good. Holloway or like something like this too, so good. I was like, wow.
Ian Gary's gonna turn into. He might be our next Taporia, where we're like, yo, fuck that dude, and then we just.
Yeah, dude. I fucking hated Taporia. Now he's like my favorite active fighter.
Dude, that happened in like a week too.
A week. I was like, I hate this dude because he was fighting Max Holloway, right? So I was like, I hate him. He sucks. And then he beat Max Holloway. I was like, oh, he's kind of good. And then I watched all his fights in one night, and I was like, holy shit.
And then we found out more stuff about him. We're like, yeah, he's actually not a huge dude.
And like the big turnaround for me too was like a video of him with his kids.
Yep.
It was like holding his daughter like a football, and I was like, oh, that's funny.
Yeah. So okay, but with that said, I do think that Rachmanov smashes him.
Smash.
I think that Gary's style of striking isn't going to hold up against someone like Rachmanov, who has good striking and is like a super aggressive grappler. And I think that Gary's grappling looked good against MVP, but also like, quite frankly, I think you after like 10 beers would go and smash MVP on grappling. So like, is what
MVP just
he just beat Condit.
That's
that really hurt my soul because I love Condit.
That really impressed. Like that made me think differently about him. It didn't make me think any less of Condit, and just made me think more of MVP.
Well, here's the thing too, and I would like to think that this is the case. Condit, for all we know, hasn't been training super hard, right? He might just be kind of training recreationally, and MVP is like in fight shape and everything. And also, Condit, part of what makes Condit so exciting, right, is that Condit is very much not a position before submission guy. Right. He is a aggression from wherever he is type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So like that, I think may have played a factor. Granted, I didn't see the match, and I have no idea how he's been training as of late. But I'm a massive Condit fan, so I just like to think that like that's kind of the case, and he was just a little out of shape and was slinging submissions from everywhere.
So I would have went into this assuming the Rachmanov Gary fight was the main event.
Oh, I knew it wasn't. Not only that, it's not even an interim title.
Is it a 5-round co?
It's a 5-rounder. Yep.
Okay, that's good. 5-round co-main event. That's important. Do we have any information on why this is happening, when it started happening, and is it going to remain like a thing, like for what level cards?
Yeah, so basically they asked like a bunch of guys if they would fight Rachmanov, and at least according to what he said publicly, or his publicist or whoever, tweets for him, that like everyone else was like, nah, and Ian Gary was like, yeah, let's do it.
But only 5 rounds, not 3.
Oh, I don't think that was a stipulation.
That's the question I'm asking is why are these co-main events 5 rounds now?
Oh,
like why was Charles Oliveira and Michael Chandler 5 rounds?
Oh, yeah.
Why is this a 5-round co-main event? You know what I mean? Like we talked about this earlier. In the past, only title fights were 5 rounds,
right.
And then like I don't know, like 8-10 years ago, then they were like, hey, let's do main events 5 rounds now too, right? And so now we're seeing some co-mains. Is there a rhyme or reason? Because the co-main last week was not a 5-round fight. So, like, is there a rhyme or reason? Is there a stipulation? Is it just kind of random right now?
If I were running the UFC, I would say if both guys are in the top 10, then you should probably make it a 5-rounder.
Okay, what if they're the 3rd fight and they're both in the top 10?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't
know. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, like, I just, like, kind of want to know if they're... And right now, it could just be random. I was just wondering if, like, right. I missed, like, a news release. Like, okay, this is now how things are done.
Yeah, not that I know of.
All right. Well, the main event on that card is actually
sick.
Hot fire. Super hot fire.
Super hot fire.
Yeah, dude. Pantoja versus...
Asakura.
Yeah.
So he was the Ryzen champ.
The Ryzen.
Right? And Ryzen is what Pride was. It's the same thing. It's owned by the same people.
Interesting.
Yeah. Which a lot of... I thought that's why you got quiet for a minute, because I've seen videos of dudes, like, I've been watching a lot of Rampage on, what's his podcast? The Jackson podcast. Uh-huh. And, like, he's talked to certain Pride guys, and when they bring up who owns Pride, they get real quiet. Because they actually know those dudes. And I thought that's what you were doing for a second.
Yeah. You know, I went to lunch with them.
No. Wait, what?
Yep.
Are you sure you're thinking of...
Oh, 100%.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, me, Warren, Daniel, Henzo, and Neiman Gracie.
Okay, just knowing there's that level of separation, I'm going to shut up right now. Yeah, so, Ryzen's probably like the biggest organization in Japan.
Nice little cafe in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Williamsburg. It's like a little hipster
You
area.
guys have a good time?
Yeah, I just shut up the whole time. Just sat there. Everybody was in the shade except for me because we were like on like the outside table,
Right.
and like the awning didn't go far enough, and I
Yeah.
was just cooking. I just kept my mouth shut the whole time.
Dude, we actually, I'll tell you this story another time. I forgot what I was going to say now.
Well,
Ascora.
Ascora.
Yeah, he's really good.
Is he chill, dude?
I know nothing about him outside of his fighting, and quite frankly, I haven't seen any of his full fights. I've only seen highlights.
Is he gonna win?
Man, I don't know, because Pantoja, I think he's legitimately good, but when I watch Pantoja, you know how sometimes you watch certain champions and you're like, that dude's different, right? Like you watch Taporia and you're like, yeah, that dude's different. Or you watch Alex, right? Or even if we go back in time, Silva, and you're like, that dude's different from all the other fighters. I don't see anything with Pantoja where I'm like, oh, dude, his shot entries are so sick. Like he's just getting everyone with that, or like his striking's so crisp. Like I don't see any one thing where I'm like, that dude's so different from everyone else. I just see a really high level fighter who is like really, really good everywhere and fights hard, you know, and is super, super tough too. And Asakura, at least from like the, you know, highlights I've seen, he seems really good in those highlights. Now, granted, I realize I'm only seeing like the best things, so like I expect to see like just a super dynamic, everything we want from a flyweight fight. You know what I mean? Lots of like just a super dynamic fight.
All right, cool.
So I'm pretty excited for that. Max, what you got about that fight?
It wasn't about that fight. This is like a technical thing. I need to grab my charger for this thing because it's dying. You want me to just crouch?
Oh, Max.
Crouch walk,
Max.
crouch, Max. If you end up on camera, Max.
I can do that.
We're gonna have to start over.
Gosh. You know what? Cancel the show. Podcast is over. We quit. Yeah. All right.
Oh god.
So, also in December, we've got Colby Covington versus Jeremiah Buckley. That'll be the main event of
Joaquin
that Tampa
Buckley.
card. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be the main event of that Tampa card, which I think that closes the year out.
Okay, so what are your thoughts on that fight?
Man, that's something,
Max, over
right?
here.
And there's a strip above your left shoulder on the wall.
You got options.
Yeah.
So I think that
Max, you're on camera, you piece of shit.
yeah.
We had an editor.
No, this is not getting edited, dude. This stays. This stays, dude. One day we'll look back on this and be like, yo.
Yeah, this is great.
Okay, but anyways, back to this fight. All right, so full disclosure, going into this, everything I say is beyond bias because I hate Colby Covington, right?
Oh, dude, he's one of my favorites.
He's just like, dude, he's such a heel, and I don't even think he's good at being a heel. I think he's just like straight cheesy.
Who else is like him?
Like him as in they're a heel or they're like
No,
cheesy?
just like on his level. Who's on his level?
Entertainment-wise or fighting-wise?
Entertainment-wise.
Entertainment-wise, who's on his level?
Who's in his stratosphere? Nobody. He's unique. He's one of a kind.
No, he's a wannabe
heel.
Chael.
He's a heel that is not good at being a heel, but is very well known for it. He's unique.
I don't think it's intentional. I don't think he's like, yo, let me figure out something.
He's a mix of like Henry Cejudo and Chael. He's a heel of cringe.
That is a really good way of putting it, but here's the difference. Cejudo,
He knows he's cringe.
I mean, I think he does now, but I think I think it unnaturally evolved this way. I think he tried to be Chael.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, and then pivoted when it wasn't working out.
Okay,
like
good
that.
for him. His marketing's working. I don't like the guy.
It's 100% working. He's in a main event.
And he's fighting a purple shorts guy. You know what I mean? And arguably my favorite purple shorts guy.
Okay. Well, I'll put a dub on it.
1,000.
1K.
All right. So obviously Buckley's key to victory is to not get taken down.
Colby's key to victory is to relentlessly take him down.
Yes. I don't even think he should try to strike, to be honest with you.
I mean, he has to try to strike.
I think he
Part
should
of
just
the
straight
takedown.
shoot.
Colby's. I will say that Colby's proactive takedown entries rival
Oh, dude, at the end of the day,
top
as
level.
much as I hate the guy,
top level proactive takedown entries.
Yeah.
Top level.
he's
Some of
nice.
the best.
He's
Some
nice.
of the best.
And he's really good at not letting guys stand up. You know, like once he gets them down, they have a hard time standing up.
Yeah.
Now, Colby, has he fought since Masvidal broke his jaw?
Yes, he has.
Okay.
Let's pull up Colby. Is he
Yes.
not ranked?
Check out his recent.
Is he unranked in the welterweight division?
If he's not ranked, it's because of inactivity. But no, he's
No,
ranked. He's
ranked.
6.
I was gonna say.
So he's 7. Slide down. Let me see who he fought most recently.
Oh, it was Leon Edwards.
Okay.
That's right. That was that comeback fight, and he had been off a long time before that.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah. He didn't look himself in that fight.
Now, do you think it's age, or do you think that was that specific fight?
I think it was that. I think it was. My money's gonna be where that it was that specific fight. Who do you think's coming in as the favorite here in the Covington Buckley match on the lines?
That's difficult. I bet it's going to be super close with
I'm gonna
Colby
say that
opening as a
my
slight
guess,
favorite.
Colby minus 220.
Yeah, something like that. But I bet as time goes on and people start getting their bets in, I bet it starts to get even closer.
You think? Oh, then I. So with that, so the betting people, what you want to know is if you're going to bet on Colby and you want to take Will's advice, you should bet pre-fight, like closer to the fight, because he believes the line's going to move in Buckley's favor throughout this process. Not making Buckley a favorite, but making Colby less of a favorite, giving you more bang on your.
And I wouldn't
buck.
be if it's that close, especially if it's like 100 or something
Like that.
close to that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if those
I wanna see
flip
the odds.
underneath. Oh,
So-
interesting. Okay.
Oh, it's right there. Oh my goodness.
Wow. Opposite of
Colby
what
is
we
a
thought.
dog. Plus 180 dog. Smash that button.
I hate Colby, but that's, I mean, dude, those odds don't make sense in my mind. Because Buckley's weakness is grappling. And Colby's, like, massive strength is grappling. And, like, that smothering style of grappling. You know what I mean? Like, and we've seen Buckley struggle against that in the past. Yeah.
Are you going to put any money on this one?
No.
I'm going to put some money on it. Max is not. That would be illegal.
Yeah.
right.
Interesting.
All right, cool. All right, let's bump off. Okay. Let's just talk some things that are going
No,
down.
dude, there's
Wait,
one
you want
here.
to talk about something else?
Yeah.
What do you want to talk about?
Dude, I want your thoughts on Mitchell and Kron Gracie.
Is
it Kron or Kron?
Kron.
Kron Gracie?
Yeah, ice cream. Kron.
Okay. First of all, I think it was Luke Thomas who said it's the battle of the flat earthers. which
Bro,
is
it is.
hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
Dude, like on paper, I wanted to not like Bryce Mitchell so much, and then he came through our gym, and he's just like the nicest guy in the world.
Dude,
I
Bryce
couldn't
Mitchell.
not like him.
Bryce Mitchell was very, very cool. I like him a lot.
He was just so polite.
Based off Kron's last fight, I got to go Bryce Mitchell. Walking away
Yeah.
with it.
I would say if Kron had any sort of like striking threat, I'd be curious about Mitchell's chin after Emmett.
Who was Kron training with when he did have striking threat? Was he with
I don't
like
know.
Ortega and them? No, he was with the Diaz's.
I don't know enough about his
Yeah,
training
he was
history.
with the Scrap Pack. He was with the Diaz brothers.
Okay, that would make sense. But
Yeah.
like that.
That's when he was like fighting, and then he just like fell off the face of the earth.
Now, is he still doing jiu-jitsu tournaments or
No,
competition?
he's
at
not.
all?
He has a gym in Montana.
Oh, interesting.
He lives in Montana, has a gym in Montana. This hat came from a friend who also lives in Montana and used to train with Kron and no longer does.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Any specific reason why, or
He's a jag.
I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Wait, he sucked, or just like he's an asshole?
Asshole.
I could totally see that dude being. I mean, honestly, it's almost not his fault. Can you imagine being Hickson's son and like not thinking you're the man?
I just yeah, I could imagine being Hickson's son. and
Yeah,
not
you know,
being
at the
the
very
man.
least, just don't be
Yeah.
an asshole about it. So, okay, I think
Oh,
who are we rooting for then?
Wow, Bryce Mitchell is a huge favorite, coming in at minus 520.
I think that makes sense.
Sheesh, a 5-1 favorite.
Is Kron's jiu-jitsu that much better than Bryce's?
Yeah,
Like that much better? Like he could submit
Like a
him
jiu-jitsu
like
match?
really quick. No, MMA jiu-jitsu. Like
yeah, no.
you think he could submit him like quickly?
Yeah, I think no. I mean, I don't.
Because that's the only way I think that he gets.
Do I think he could? Yeah, no way. Hey, Nate Landwehr's on the card. versus Do Choi. Yeah, so Nate Landwehr, local legend, Nate Landwehr, has a loss to Mark Cherico by knockout.
Oh,
I
wow.
cornered Mark in that fight. A win over Justin Steve by decision, in which, it was a sad night because Justin's my boy and he lost that decision. But then Nate Landwehr went on to deliver the single best post-fight speech ever.
Oh,
In William,
it's that guy.
Pennsylvania.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, yeah, that was
Nate
so
the
sick.
Train Landwehr.
You want to
dude.
give the speech? bro?
Yeah, dude. He was like on the mic after his fight. This is like a local level pro fight.
Oh, dude.
I was a Gladiator II cage fight in Williamsport, Pennsylvania.
One day we'll have a whole pod about
Yeah.
that.
And Nate Landwehr wins the decision. He goes, I'd like to thank myself for throwing all those punches, all those kicks, doing all those sit-ups. Dude, he's so
Dude, I believe he started by saying, first of all, I'd like to thank myself.
Yeah.
But or like there's a pause somewhere that made it like so funny.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, yeah. I didn't realize that's who. Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Dude,
dude.
that's awesome. That's
Uh-huh.
awesome. Okay, I hope he wins then.
Oh.
Fantastic. But real quick, going back to Gracie and Mitchell, do you think that those odds, the minus, what was it, 520 or something? Do you think that's, I think it's accurate.
I think it reflects what we've seen from them lately, yes.
Okay. Interesting. Are you going to be betting on that?
No, but I will be throwing 2 or 3 units on my man, Nate Landwehr.
Right on. Now, last question. Do you think that if Bryce and Kron both at the same time knock each other out, that the Earth will actually flatten out?
Yeah, maybe.
And then Lucas will be ecstatic.
Oh, yeah.
Should
Lucas.
we what's the word I'm looking for?
Restart that rumor?
Yeah, restart that rumor.
That Lucas Siebert thinks the Earth's flat.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Uh,
All right, I want to push.
Yes, I agree.
out of the UFC. I'm done with MMA, guys. I'd like to announce my retirement from talking about MMA today,
right on.
or at least in this version. All right, so some things that went down this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Filmed some instructionals.
You sure did.
Yeah, dude, your boy was in front of the big expensive cameras, slapping some mixers.
The good ones up at the Zealy gym.
Yeah, so we were up at the Zealy gym. A handful of the jiu-jitsu instructors were there. And we started, some work with Storyhouse, filming some instructional content that, will be coming to the Stout website at some point in time.
Sick.
We're looking to do a really good job with it and put some real high quality stuff out, not just the actual technique, which will be high quality, but also, the means of production of it.
Right.
And keep your eyes open. You might catch a mixer instructional. That one might be going to BJJ Fanatics. I don't know. We don't know.
Or maybe our new marketing strategy, but that's
Yeah.
for us.
Yeah. So So we filmed some instructionals. Some of the people who instructionals you can look forward to seeing from, obviously Warren Stout, Logan Stout, Vince Mang, Alex Hudick, and Andy Anderson were all involved in filming of some technique out there. So it's going to be some exciting stuff for the jiu-jitsu practitioners of Stout.
Now let me ask you this too, without giving anything away. Are we not talking about that?
No, I said jiu-jitsu.
I thought you were like, the thing that you figured out. Are we not talking about that?
No, go ahead. No, the thing I figured out. Go ahead.
How long do you think it's going to take for you to test it before we start teaching the team? And then how long
The new
before...
strangle?
Yeah.
Dude, I hit Max with it today.
Yeah, I mean, you've been
I hit
killing
the new
it.
strangle on Max today. He doesn't even know. When we were
It's-
doing...
dude, it's-
what rounds? Did we do turtle rounds?
Yeah.
Yeah, so Max and I did some turtle rounds this morning. Monday morning practice, Max decided to actually get serious about his life, show up to practice. Monday morning, he alleges that he didn't know he was allowed to be there. How long those practices been going on, Will?
As long as I've been at the gym.
Dude, yeah.
They're called pro practice.
Bro, that was my majority of jiu-jitsu for, 5 years?
Yeah.
I believe you.
Yeah.
It's called the pro practice.
Am I a pro?
I mean, I just feel like you've been around so long, Max, that you would, feel like you could go to those. But
Neither
whatever.
here nor there.
Neither here nor there. Yeah, I strangled the shit out of Max with it today.
Dude, but like I'm
From back, I got your
can't
back.
get over how like
RNC style choke, but it was different.
I can't get over how good it is.
No. I went to it's secret right now.
It's secret.
Well, Max is not on camera, but yeah, it's secret right now. It's a secret move right now.
I'm blown away with how awesome it is.
Dude, it's freaking amazing. So I showed it to some people. I showed it to you. I showed it to Jared Evans. Actually, I teach it on his channel. So there will be an instruction, like a brief instructional of it on the Radical Trivia channel. But that probably won't come out for a bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's like in the bank.
Okay, so around that time is when it'll start to get distributed to our guys.
Yeah, I mean, I still got to like make sure I believe in it fully.
Right, and figure some
But
things
dude,
out.
I totally am. So Jared, notoriously difficult for me to strangle from the back, right? Like he's just very good with like, you know, using his body very efficiently and like putting his body in a position where he's going to be very strong, right? Like you know, like his connections and stuff to where it's not like he's not like using like too much like muscular like that's going to like tire him out, but like it's just like, hey, good luck moving this,
Right.
type of thing. So I struggled to strangle him from the back, and I saw a reel on Instagram like, I don't know, could be a month ago, could be 2 months ago, and I didn't even rewatch it.
Right.
Didn't save it. Didn't even So sometimes I'll see a cool technique, and I'm like, boom, I have like a technique for
Yeah.
where you can bookmark things, and I've literally never looked at it.
Yeah.
Just like just in case I want to look at that later, but I've never gone back into it. But like this one Craig Jones was doing from the back, like a little reel came through, and I was like, oh, that's just some Craig Jones shit, right? Because
Yeah.
Craig Jones got some shit that like is not meant for everyone.
Exactly.
You know, it's like I can't do some of the things that he does.
Right.
You know, and I just saw it, and I was like, you know, he's just Craig Jones, and I didn't even rewatch it. I moved on, and just I was rolling with Jared last Friday, and for some reason I had the choking arm in place, and I was like, I don't even know how I remembered it existed, but I was like, I'm gonna try it, and I just boop, and it worked, and I was like, oh, cool, right? And I was like halfway pumped. But I was like, could be an accident. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Could be an accident.
I just feel like MMA wise it's so much better. But
Oh, dude, it's going to be sick.
we don't need to get
So I
too...
got it a couple more times, and then another person who's notoriously hard to strangle is little Lucas Jones.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'll have fully locked in rear naked chokes on him, and like, I'll be like putting it on, and I'll just be like, dude, whatever, go ahead, get out. Like, he just like gets out, right?
Yeah.
And so I slapped one on him today, right? So two people who I get to the back on and get attempts at chokes on that I like struggle to finish, it was successful on, and it was replicable.
I'm very excited for our team to start doing this.
Yeah, and it has some other things other than just like the finish. It allows for some more variation in body positioning and head positioning, which especially in MMA with the gloves, I think will make a difference.
That's where I think it's going to be real key. But anyways, we can talk about that when we like make it public.
Yeah, that'll come through.
I think we only got one more thing to discuss.
All right, I think the fair thing to do. Let me do this. The fair thing to do. So we are this weekend. We celebrated Willie's birthday, right? And we went and we saw Gladiator 2. So we are going to talk about Gladiator 2 now. So if you don't want any form, like, I don't think we're going to be like spoiling so much, but like, if you don't want any form of spoilers or whatever,
or to hear us talk about movies,
or if you don't want to hear us talk about movies, now's the time to turn off the podcast.
With that said, this is a rare occurrence because, Mike, you've seen, what, like 5 movies in your life?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I'm not really about it. Yeah.
Which I think I have like a 95% success rate of showing you movies because I'm like, dude, check this movie out. And you're like, yo, that's so sick.
Yeah. It's hard. Like, when I watch movies, I like movies, but like I have a hard time starting. Right? It's like, you know, like when like you have to work out, you're like you know, like, oh, I got to get this weight cut going, and then like once you get it going, it's not that bad.
Awesome.
It's like just like getting it started, like a morning workout.
Yeah.
When you get on the mats and you're just like
you're cold still,
around and you're like but then once like
you're like 2 rounds in,
2 rounds in, you're good.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like that with movies.
So what
all right, let's get into it. So I thought Gladiator 2 was sick.
I agree.
All right. Now I came into it with a little bit of an expectation because somebody in the wrestling community that I follow on social medias completely didn't like give a spoiler warning and just started bombing on it, right? and like I caught that, right? And like I was like, I managed to like not read it all,
Right.
but it should have let me know that this movie was going to be great, because I chronically disagree with this dude on almost everything.
There
right?
you go.
Right? He'll be like, oh, like in MMA, like the MMA wrestlers suck. He's a college wrestler for Ohio. He was a college wrestler for Ohio State and was very good. And like I wanted to agree with him on things, right? You know? And like I just be like, dude, you're just objectively like so wrong. And I know you have tons of friends who fight MMA who wrestled with you. Why don't you just go ask them?
Dude,
You know what I mean?
that's the
And
problem with
they're all
college
gonna
kids.
tell you it's wrong, huh?
Anyone that age, bro, college kids.
He's our age.
Oh, I thought he was like recently
He
in college.
wrestled. Okay, so
He should know better
year,
then.
His senior year was probably 2014.
So he's giving these takes as an adult.
Yeah. His senior year.
He's just stupid.
If I had to guess, his senior year of college was 2014. I would guess.
Okay, yeah. So he's almost. My age.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
like
yeah.
he's in his 30s.
Okay, yeah. The youth is no excuse for him being.
Yeah,
an
that's
idiot.
what I'm saying.
Got you.
So he like was like, oh, it was trash. And like right then, I should have known. I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna love this,"
It
and
was
I
pretty
sure
sick.
did. I loved it, dude. I thought it was great. It was exactly what I needed. I was gonna talk a little bit about like how it could have been more, or do you have?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, so that's kind of where it comes down to, and I think that like,
Right. It was a long movie. Like it was like a 2.5 hour movie.
yeah, it was super
But
solid.
bro, they
It
could
wasn't
have made
great.
that like 10-hour long episodes
Yes.
or something. Like there was so much like that. I'm like, we didn't even touch on that. We just glossed over that.
Dude,
this
like
and that.
for example, where has what's his name? Where has Lucius been the past 16 years?
Oh,
Like,
he's been in. We know that. But
yeah,
like,
but
we
they
don't know,
they,
like,
they show where he was. They're like, oh, he's fighting in Africa. Like,
Yeah.
how did he get here? What happened? Like, who? How did he? What position does he have here? Like, what? You know what I
oh,
mean?
he
Like,
got sent there.
I know, but like they didn't show any of like the backstory.
Oh, right,
and that's
right,
what I'm
right.
saying.
Okay,
is if
okay,
it
yeah.
was a 10-part series,
Right. Yeah, there could have been a lot. There could have been. Yeah, there was a lot that they could have done with it that I would have loved.
Right.
And I would have, like, 10-hour long episodes, I would have loved it. Or
Yeah.
8-hour long episodes, whatever. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
10 2-hour episodes, dude.
dude, I don't know, dude. I would have loved it. Like, there was just so much cool stuff. And then, like, some stuff, like, because they had to rush it to fit it in this movie, was, like, wildly dynamic from, like, I hate you, I love you. Like, over, like,
So
one...
like he sees his mom the first
Yeah.
time, and he's just like, oh, I hate you, and then like sees her
Your
again.
son is dead.
Yeah, and then sees her
That
again.
son
He's
is
like,
dead.
You're
And it's
the
like,
best.
but you know exactly. You were 12 years old when you got sent away.
Right.
You know why you got sent away. You got sent away because they're going to kill you. So
Yeah.
how are you resentful? Like, you know.
yeah.
You know you had to be sent away. You were a 12-year-old boy they were trying to kill. Right?
So that 100% agree. I think my biggest like thing that I was like, this is weird and like slightly off. And I just tried to look it up before this, and it might actually be a different guy. But they called the weird kind of like pudgy white guy.
Yeah,
who
like
friends with
he was
Denzel.
like frail and old.
They
yeah.
called him Maximus Thrax, right?
You, according to you.
I could have sworn he said that. Now, to be fair, you and I might have had a couple brews before we watched the movie.
I had a couple, 2, 3.
Or no, we were drinking rum and cokes. That's right.
Couple, 2, 3.
So
Yeah, that's right.
my recall on everything is not going to be perfect, but I was sure they called him Maximus Thrax, and I was like, dude, Maximus Thrax is supposed to be like 8 feet tall, this like crazy awesome warrior, and I was just like this chubby little dude who like
Sniveling. Okay.
yeah, exactly. So that I could be off on that, but at the very least, like help your boy out and give him a different name. Though casting wise, the dude who played Lucius, what did you think about him?
I thought he did awesome.
Yeah, I thought he was great.
I thought he was perfect.
Perfect.
Literally looked the part.
That's
Had,
what I was
the-
gonna say.
I remember I said that in the
Yep.
movie. He has like that flat Roman face, like where his like the forehead to the nose is just like.
And also, like, he looked like muscular
Dude,
and
yeah, he
athletic,
looked-
but not like freakish, like
Yeah, not-
steroided out
Right,
bodybuilder.
yeah.
He looks like a dude who could actually fight.
And then like his act, I thought like.
Oh,
I just
acting
thought-
was
I
on
mean, like
point.
I'm not like some like buddy who knows what's going on, but like
I believed it.
To me, perfect for the role.
I agree 1,000%. I thought the casting was sick. I thought Denzel was great in that
Dude,
role.
Denzel
But hold on,
was so
real quick, going back to the Gladiator, or at least the main one, not having them be jacked, that's also like historically accurate because gladiator trainers try to make their gladiators just like as big as possible, and they ate tons of grain and stuff, so they weren't like shredded. You know what I mean? Like these were dudes who were just like big, bulky, jacked dudes.
Yeah.
And he looked like I'm not like big, bulky, you know, but like he looked like a dude who actually fights, not like a guy who's in a Hollywood weight room, you know, 24/7, you know, just juiced to the gills, trying to look good. So that I was like, that's sick. That's super sick. And like you said, I thought the acting was on point. We get Denzel. I mean, dude, Denzel doesn't miss.
Yeah, it doesn't miss.
Yeah, overall, super, super sick. Any other specifics that you thought were like really awesome or really dumb?
I like the naval, all the naval war.
That was so
the naval
cool.
battle. Like even like the naval battle, like at the start of the movie, which was actually a naval battle, and then the naval battle in the Coliseum.
That because I don't think they in the first one they did animals, but they didn't do any naval battles, right?
I don't recall any naval. No,
I haven't seen. I mean, dude, it's probably.
But
been
that's
like 20
historically
years.
accurate that there were naval
Yeah,
battles.
yeah. And so when I was at the Coliseum in when was I there?
I don't know.
Was that 19?
Yeah.
Yeah. In 2019, they're still digging stuff up like underneath, and like they don't have it all sorted out yet. Like it's very technologically like advanced, and like the fact that they were able to just get like running water period and then go fill that up, like that's hard. You know, like imagine if I was like, yo, Mike, you and me, we're gonna go out in my yard and we're just gonna build like a small, you know, 10-person Coliseum, right? All we need is for 10 people to go sit in it. And we're like, all right, yeah, we could probably do that. It's going to take a while, but like we could do that. And then it's like, oh, but let's make it so we could fill it up with water.
Yeah, now let's make it so like we're getting the water from the river.
Yeah. Like, but I was just saying, even we just use my hose. Like, I'm like, oh, okay, well, I guess we go buy a pond liner. It's like, oh, no, but everything has to be available like back, you know, in ancient times. Well, then no, I don't think I can do that, you know? So super, super impressive.
Yeah.
Really, really cool. The one thing that I had an issue with leading up to it was Pedro Pascal being like a gladiator, because they showed him in the like trailers like fighting, and I was like, dude, he's way too old to be a gladiator.
But it made sense.
But it made sense given his character that he's like an older like general
who has an older
experience.
general, and then got forced in there as a punishment. Yeah.
Exactly. So that, you know, took care of that, and obviously Pedro Pascal is the man.
Dude, yeah, he nailed it too.
Yeah. Super
Yeah,
killer.
casting was really good.
Casting was incredible. Really, which I feel like nowadays is a real issue, because I feel like in today's movies they either just throw a bunch of stars into just like shitty movies, just being like, oh, the star power will carry it, or they have these really good movies, but then they have some actor who's just like either isn't quite good enough or doesn't quite look like how they're supposed to look. Especially action stars, I have a real problem with that. Like people who are supposed to be able to fight, and then they either fight like incorrectly, or they fight just in ways that like the character shouldn't be fighting, or they just don't look like it. So like Tom Cruise in Jack Reacher, right? Tom Cruise, he's really good at being an action actor, and he made that into like a really good action movie. But a massive part of Jack Reacher is the fact that he is a giant 6'6", 250 dude, and that is not Tom Cruise. You know what I mean? Good. So like I feel like that's an issue in a lot of like modern movies, and this just like nailed it.
All right, so you're a 5-star rater. What are you giving this?
4.5.
Same. 4.5.
Yeah. LTYC approved.
LTYC approved. Okay, so I actually have a surprise segment.
Oh.
All right. Max, you're involved in this segment. Okay. All right. We're going to do a draft.
Okay.
All right. In which we're going to draft Thanksgiving foods.
Oh, sick.
All right.
All right.
But like, let's say like, you know, someone takes something, it's off the draft board.
Okay.
So we're going to go snake draft.
Okay, now hold on. So I have some questions leading up to it. So my family doesn't always do traditional.
Then it's chill. It doesn't matter.
Can I choose those?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you.
All right.
Are you doing just like dinner foods or like desserts and all that stuff?
All of it.
All of it. Okay.
All of it.
Okay.
All right. So, but if something makes my list, it can't be on your list. You know what I mean? All right. So we'll give Max the honors of starting off. Max, what is your number one overall pick for a Thanksgiving meal?
Oh, just one.
Just one thing. And then I'll pick, and then we'll make it back around. So you'll be pick 1 and then pick 6.
All right, I'm not gonna take the obvious one. I'm gonna go with mashed potatoes.
Mashed potatoes. It's a good choice. Mike, what you got?
That would have been my number 1.
Well, it's not anymore.
I would not. I will leave. I will leave Thanksgiving. You know what? Episode over. No, go ahead, Will.
Wait, no, you're second.
No, you're second.
We'll go this way.
Why are we going that way?
Okay, let's go to me next then. You're going to really hate me after this, because I'm getting not the obvious, but the best. Gravy.
Oh, I don't even like gravy. Don't even use it.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Never used it. Maybe I'd love it. Never tried it.
Wait, are you serious?
Yeah.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, the obvious one for me to take now, bro. So here goes the thing. There's one thing that is actually absolutely mandatory for me, but I'm like almost 1,000% sure it's gonna make it back to me.
Okay.
So I don't want to wait. Like
No, don't do that.
So I'm gonna run with a deep fried turkey.
That's a great pick. That's a great pick.
Deep fried
I've only had a deep fried turkey one time, and it was phenomenal.
All right. And then.
And I think turkey's overrated too.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Now, with pick number 4, because this is a snake draft.
Okay.
Serpentine?
Yeah. Snake, serpentine.
I've heard serpentine.
Similar. Sounds like the same thing to me.
Mine sounds cooler though.
All right, dude. I don't know what to tell you. All right. Man, what am I gonna take? I do believe that my most important food is gonna make it back.
Yeah,
so
me too.
what I'm gonna do is, dude. I mean, like, I only eat these 3 foods. So,
I was surprised when you brought this up because I was
it's literally
it's very unlike you.
turkey, mashed potatoes, and then this other thing, and I put it all together and I mixed it up
Yeah, but you were so anti-Gobblerito when Chris suggested that.
because it's in a burrito.
Oh, dude.
That's
okay.
gross.
Okay, so give us your next pick.
All right, dude. I just want to steal something from you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go green bean casserole.
Okay, that's a good one. I'm taking stuffing.
Ugh, gross.
What you got, Max?
You got 2 in a row.
I got 2 in a row? Mm-hmm. All right. I'm going to go sweet potatoes.
Trash. Go ahead.
Is that trash?
No, but...
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Who's the coolest one here?
Who knows the least about food? That's the real question.
Yes, maybe.
No, Max,
No.
it's not you.
You don't think so?
You've eaten more foods in your, 20? Yeah. In your 20 years, you've eaten more foods than Mike has.
Variety. I've eaten more food than you.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But more variety. I'll eat the same thing every day. And it'll be freaking awesome.
All right. I'm going to skip the rest of the dinner stuff then because I don't know what's coming back to you. And I'm going to go pumpkin cheesecake.
Wow.
Interesting.
Wow. I would never try that.
Dude, that sounds great.
That is horrible.
That sounds great.
I don't eat pumpkin nothing, and I don't eat cheesecake. That's gross. I don't want cheese in my cake.
You know, it's so funny about
So good.
about Mike's food selections is he'll be like, he has really strong opinions, really strong
Yeah.
on everything, but he hasn't tried most of it. And then if you like describe what it is, he's like, oh, that's good. So for example, right before seeing Gladiator, Mike and our best friend Chris. So the first time Mike met Chris, I was like, yeah, dude, this is my best friend. He goes, your best friend? He's my best friend now.
Yeah. Chris is awesome.
But anyways, we're like discussing where we're gonna go eat, and I was like, "Oh, dude, like we could go like right by the theater. There's an Italian Village Pizza, right? Like let's go." And Mike's like, "Absolutely not. No, not going to." And we're like, "Oh, dude, like it's like thin style, like thin crust." And we're like, "Oh, I really like that. Oh, I bet I'm gonna like this."
Yeah.
We end up going all about it.
Well, we did a draft, so let's talk about that. So, I was pretty much into Burgatory is where I wanted to go, right? So what we did was we went to the Waterworks and we listed all the restaurants in the Waterworks, and then we were like, all right, let's just start eliminating it. So one by one, we eliminated one. So like Walnut Grill, boom. Chili's, boom. The Ichiban, boom,
Yeah.
right? And we're down to our top 3, which was Burgatory, Italian Village, and Mad Max, right? So then we all made a list of our 1, our 2, and our 3, and then we typed it on our phones, and we all pressed send at the same time. So it was like organic. And me and Chris's list was exactly the same. We had the Italian Village, Mad Max, and then Burgatory third.
And I just swapped
And you
1 and
swapped.
2.
You had Mad Max and then the Italian Village.
So we ended up going IVP.
Yeah, IVP. But it's funny, it became my top pick after me being like, absolutely not. There's no way we're going there.
And there have been plenty of times I've been.
You know what I like kind of like thought it was? Like a Sabara. I was like, it's like, isn't that like a food court like thing?
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
But there have been times where I'm like, yo, Mike, we're gonna try this food, and he's like, absolutely not. And then we do it, and he's like, dude, that's great. Like all the time we're eating this. But
all right, what's your food?
okay, so you just did 1 or 2?
I did 2.
You did 2? Would you?
He
Oh, that's
did.
right. Pumpkin cheesecake sounds tremendous.
And then he also did.
Sweet potato.
Which
Okay, so
Kind of broad, but like.
I'm gonna go with another side here. I don't know if other people do this, but my family does like a creamed onion with like little sweet Vidalia onions in it. Pretty fire.
It's just trash. Trash. What a trash pick. I'm going with corn.
Oh, that's a great one.
That's the one I knew was coming back to me. So all I did, dude, turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, swirl it in a bowl. That's it. Dude.
Okay, hit a second one then.
No, that's it. That's the end of the draft. That's all I need. I don't
well,
care anymore. Okay, if I were to
here's
hit
what
a
else
second one
you
back,
need.
butter.
Okay, that's a good one. Here's some other ones, and we're not even gonna go in order anymore. I'm just gonna tell you my strategy.
Just spit 'em.
Cranberry sauce. Also, my family oftentimes
Just tell me what's on your first plate.
they want. Oh,
What's your first plate?
Well,
Tell me
hold
your
on,
first
real
plate.
quick.
What is your first plate going to be on Thanksgiving?
Well, it depends because
Walk me through
sometimes
it.
we don't do turkey. We do a capon.
What's a capon?
A capon's like a giant chicken.
Between a capon and a chicken.
Okay, so here goes what I want
One's
to ask.
giant.
Here goes what I want to ask.
Okay.
If it's a capon or if it's a turkey,
Yeah.
does that change the rest of the arrangement? Or is it just I do A, B, C, D in capon or
No.
A, B, C, D in turkey?
No.
So if it's turkey, A, B, C, and D are different.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, tell me.
No,
It's
I'm
turkey.
agreeing with you. I'm saying like
Oh.
no, turkey and capon interchangeable.
So interchangeable.
I just want to let you know.
All right, run me the plate. rest of the plate.
Also, super important for my Thanksgiving, but it's not going on the first plate. We use it as an appetizer. Oysters. Gotta have the oysters, dude. Big oyster guy. Oh yeah. There's few events that I don't do oysters. We do it on Christmas, Thanksgiving, my birthday. I'm doing oysters. You know what I mean? Like oysters are where it's at.
All right.
I know you're a big oyster fan, but
I've never had an oyster. in my
yeah,
life.
dude, one of these days we're just gonna crush.
Can I?
Yeah, we're gonna crush up a ton of Benadryl and just mix it up, and then you can just eat all the oysters you want.
Right on.
But no, my first plate it's gonna be a little bit of everything,
Which is
whatever's there.
Vidalia onions.
Yep.
Onions,
mashed potatoes,
tree bark. Get weird, dude.
There will be something weird because, like, multiple people in my family are vegetarian, and we are like very not traditional. So like, whatever makes its way there makes its way there. You know what I mean? There's gonna be something weird that like you would be like, I don't want to eat this.
Yeah, dude, for sure. What did you guys make me eat before? I hated.
Dude, I've made you eat tons of stuff that you
It
hated.
was the one thing though. It was like dude. What are some of the stuff you made me eat that I didn't like?
That Asian popsicle.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was fire.
No, it was like me. It was me, you, Katie, and Marissa. We were at your house. We were making pasta, I think, and then we had.
Oh, when we made you eat tuna?
No, that was here. This was at Zhang.
What did we make you eat? Artichoke, maybe?
That's it. Artichoke.
Okay.
Yeah, trash. All right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
to be honest, artichoke's okay.
Mildly mid.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
All right. Well, hey, bonus segment. Hope everybody enjoyed. That's this episode of Listen to Your Coaches. Max's debut episode. You saw his back in camera, which he'll receive some lashings for. But that's it. We'll catch you next time. See ya.